Elon Musk warning, this is not good. Silver is needed in many industrial processes. But here's the real shock. Tesla just halted production lines while silver broke $100 and Ford wrote down $19.5 billion in EV programs. When the world's most famous industrialist publicly admits silver shortage is not good, that's not market correction. That's manufacturing crisis. I am about to show you why every electric vehicle rolling off production lines today might be the last affordable EVs ever manufactured. The silver supply crisis isn't coming. It's already shutting down the biggest names in automotive. January 26th, 2026. Current silver price, $104 per ounce. Tesla's Fremont factory reports component supply disruptions affecting Model 3 production. Ford announces $19.5 billion write-down citing higher costs and regulatory changes. GM takes $6 billion charge while halting EV battery plant operations for 6 months. That's not coincidence. That's mathematical inevitability hitting automotive reality. Each Tesla Model 3 requires approximately 1.2 troy ounces of silver. At $104 per ounce, that's $124.80 in silver content alone, before assembly, labor, or other materials. 6 months ago, at $50 silver, same vehicle needed $60 silver content. Raw materials doubled while selling prices stayed competitive. But here's what makes this crisis exponentially worse. It's not just Tesla. Every electric vehicle manufacturer faces identical mathematics simultaneously. Ford, $19.5 billion write-down announced December 2025. Official reason? Lower than expected demand, high costs, regulatory changes. Real reason? Silver at $100+ makes EV production uneconomical. Ford canceled electric F-150 Lightning expansion, halted new electric commercial van, converted Ontario plant from EV SUVs back to gas-powered trucks. GM, $6 billion charge in January 2026. Delayed Chevrolet Silverado EV until 2026, idled 2 Ultium battery plants for 6 months, laid off 1,550 battery workers, repurposed Michigan EV plant for gas-powered Escalades. Pattern recognition, retreat from electric back to combustion engines, industry-wide capitulation accelerating. GM halted production at Warren, Ohio and Spring Hill, Tennessee battery facilities. Ford suspended 1 production shift at Fairfax Assembly, delayed second shift indefinitely. Tesla reported 2-day Fremont shutdown for parts shortages. Mainstream media calls it EV market correction. That's propaganda. This is supply chain mathematics, destroying profit margins across entire automotive sector simultaneously. Here's the industrial silver consumption that's breaking automaker budgets. Traditional gas vehicle, 0.5 to 0.7 ounces silver content. Electric vehicle, 1.0 to 1.6 ounces silver content. Hybrid vehicle, 0.8 to 1.2 ounces silver content. EV uses triple the silver of comparable gas car for electrical systems. Battery management, power electronics, charging infrastructure. At $25 silver, EVs manageable. At $50 silver, margins compressed. At $100+ silver, EVs unprofitable unless selling prices increase proportionally. But consumer demand collapses when EV costs exceed gas equivalents by $5,000 to $10,000 premiums. Tesla Model 3 base price, $38,990. Add $124.80 silver content, plus doubled component costs, plus manufacturing complexity, plus margin requirements. Real production cost approaching $45,000+ while selling at under $39,000. Mathematics impossible without massive per unit losses. Elon Musk understands this trap better than Wall Street analysts. His not good warning wasn't pessimism, it was mathematical reality acknowledgment. Tesla depends on silver for every electrical system, every battery management component, every charging connector, every power inverter. No substitutes exist at industrial scale. Copper oxidizes under high electrical loads. Aluminum conducts poorly for precision electronics. Gold costs exponentially more than silver. Only silver provides optimal conductivity, corrosion resistance, and electrical performance required for EV reliability. China's export restrictions compound crisis exponentially. Effective January 1st, 2026, only state-approved Chinese companies can export silver with government licenses. Minimum requirements, 80 tons annual production, $30 million credit lines. This eliminates 60 to 70% of global refined silver supply from international commerce immediately. Shanghai silver trading $10+ above London prices. Chinese industrial users paying premiums to secure domestic supply before export controls tighten further. Western automakers facing supply shortages plus premium pricing plus delivery delays extending 8 to 12 weeks. Tesla sources silver globally, but Chinese supply disruption forces competition for remaining Western supplies. Ford, GM, Stellantis, Volkswagen, all competing for same diminishing silver availability. Industrial bidding wars driving prices beyond automotive profit thresholds. Global EV production targets mathematically impossible at current silver consumption rates. China, 12 million EVs planned 2026. United States, 2 million EVs targeted. Europe, 3.5 million EVs projected. Combined 17.5 million EVs requiring 17.5 to 28 million ounces silver annually just for automotive sector. Add solar panel production requiring 120 million ounces. Add data center expansion needing 20 million ounces. Add 5G infrastructure consuming 15 million ounces. Total industrial silver demand 172.5 to 183 million ounces annually from these sectors alone. Global silver mine production 844 million ounces total. Industrial consumption, all sectors, 700 plus million ounces. Remaining 144 million ounces must satisfy investment demand, jewelry, electronics, medical devices, aerospace, defense applications, simultaneously. Mathematics breakdown. If automotive achieves production targets, plus solar meets climate mandates, plus data centers support AI expansion, industrial silver demand exceeds total mine production. Deficit requires above-ground stockpile depletion accelerating annually. Available commercial stockpiles, under 2 billion ounces after Chinese hoarding. At 150 plus million ounce annual deficits, stockpiles last 13 years maximum. But depletion accelerates as remaining supplies get hoarded by industrial users desperate for guaranteed long-term contracts. Automotive manufacturers facing strategic choice, reduce EV production targets or secure multi-year silver supply contracts at premium pricing. Tesla, Ford, GM, all negotiating exclusive supply agreements while production costs explode beyond competitive thresholds. Tesla's solution? Pivot to robotics and AI. December 2025, Musk announced Optimus robot production at Fremont plant. Target, 1 million units annually by 2027, 10 million by 2030. Robots use less silver per unit than vehicles while commanding higher profit margins. Ford's solution? Retreat to hybrid and gas vehicles. Canceled purely electric F-150, maintained hybrid options, converted EV plants back to combustion engine production. Hybrids use 60% less silver than pure EVs while maintaining electrification marketing benefits. GM solution, delay and scale back. Extended EV timelines, reduced production targets, idled battery plants, redirected investment toward gas-powered vehicles, generating immediate profitability rather than long-term losses. Industry-wide pattern recognition. Automotive sector abandoning aggressive EV transition due to silver supply mathematics, not consumer demand issues. Silver scarcity making electrification economically impossible at projected scales. But here's why silver crisis accelerates beyond automotive. Every industry facing identical supply constraints simultaneously. Solar manufacturers paying $125+ for physical silver delivery. Electronics producers reporting component shortages. Defense contractors securing strategic stockpiles regardless of pricing. Competition intensifies exponentially as available supplies diminish. Automotive versus the renewable energy versus technology versus defense, all competing for finite silver simultaneously. Pricing becomes secondary to availability as industrial users prioritize production continuity over profit margins. Silver lease rates spike 200% annualized. Industrial borrowing costs indicating desperate supply scramble. Physical premiums exploding $25+ over paper prices globally. Delivery delays extending 10 to 12 weeks for guaranteed supply. Cash settlement forced on unwilling futures holders as physical delivery becomes impossible. COMEX registered silver, 76 million ounces available for delivery. March futures contracts, 500 million ounces promised. Paper to physical ratio, 6.6 to 1 promises per available ounce. When industrial users demand physical delivery simultaneously, paper market collapses entirely. Tesla, Ford, GM represent 15+ million annual EV production capacity, requiring 15 to 24 million ounces silver content. COMEX registered inventory satisfies automotive demand for approximately 3 to 5 years maximum, assuming zero other industrial consumption. Mathematics impossible without dramatic price increases destroying profit margins. Historical precedent, 1970s oil embargo. Industries dependent on cheap energy-faced production shutdowns, plant closures, strategic pivots when supply constraints made existing business models uneconomical. Silver crisis following identical pattern across automotive sector. Elon Musk is not good warning signals. Industry recognition that silver scarcity represents existential threat to EV transition, not temporary market adjustment. Automotive executives privately acknowledge electrification timelines impossible at current supply deficit trajectories. Silver at $104 isn't expensive, Its mathematical equilibrium between impossible demand and finite supply. Automotive production shutdowns represent first wave of industrial demand destruction, as pricing reaches levels that force manufacturing model changes. Tesla production halt, Ford write-down, GM retreat. These aren't isolated corporate decisions. These are coordinated industry responses to supply mathematics that make current EV production targets economically impossible at prevailing silver availability. The silver crisis killing automotive is ending. It is accelerating toward industrial sectors dependent on irreplaceable electrical conductivity materials. Musk saw it first. Ford and GM followed. Every manufacturer dependent on silver-intensive production faces identical mathematical reality. Silver broke $100 while shutting down the EV revolution. That's not market volatility. That's industrial reality hitting impossible mathematics. The automotive transformation isn't pausing for supply chain recovery. It's permanently restructuring around silver scarcity that makes previous electrification assumptions mathematically obsolete. The signs are everywhere if you understand industrial mathematics. Physical silver premiums exploded 25% above paper prices. Delivery delays extending 12+ weeks. Industrial users paying any price for guaranteed supply. Tesla's robotics pivot signals recognition that automotive manufacturing faces material cost inflation. Robots require precision silver, but use less per unit while commanding premium pricing. Ford's hybrid strategy acknowledges that pure electrification requires unsustainable silver consumption levels. Hybrids use 60% less silver than EVs, while maintaining environmental benefits. GM's production delays represent industry-wide retreat from aggressive EV timelines. Converting plants back to gas vehicles signals long-term planning, acknowledges supply constraints won't resolve. Tesla, Ford, GM production changes signal recognition that technological transitions must acknowledge geological constraints completely. Silver scarcity forcing strategic realignments toward material-efficient manufacturing approaches globally forever.